Hi guys, welcome to the first episode of Before You Sign podcast. I'm sure it's on my hand, right? Yes. Now, what is Before You Sign podcast? Before You Sign podcast is basically a legal podcast where we discuss societal issues and bring relevant stakeholders, that in that industry. So, for example, we might be discussing music law. We bring music lawyers, and we bring a practitioner who can be maybe a manager, a record label, or an executive, just so that we can have different angles and different views, of those burning issues. Then also, these professionals that we bring, they also drop one or two, advisory along the way that can be helpful to you, the viewers. So, on this first episode of Before You Sign podcast, I'm going to be your host. My name is Henry Chestnut, and alongside me is the beautiful and gorgeous co-host, who is.
Yay! Hi everyone, my name is Inokoju Omotayo, and of course you can call me Omotayo for short. I know you know already that I'm your favorite film lawyer, but no, in this case we won't be discussing film law alone. We'll be discussing all the laws that relate to you as a Nigerian. So you want to look out for this podcast, you want to look out for this show, and you want to follow and subscribe to this channel. Of course, we're not here alone. We are here with three amazing guests that will be discussing legal related issues with us today. Of course, the first person I'll be starting with is my beautiful, brilliant, and delectable Amanda. Of course, I would allow her to introduce herself.
Yes.
Hi guys. Thank you for inviting me, first of all.
You're welcome.
My name is Amanda Uzoagba. I'm an entertainment lawyer. I'm also the head of license in West Africa at uzoagba.com.
Shut up.
Summarized introduction.
Yes, sir.
The next person.
All right, so
Okay.
you? Music.
Let my boss introduce himself.
Interesting, man. I don't know. Hi guys, thanks for having me. I like the idea of the show, and I trust that you guys will kill it. Introduction: my name is Akinyemi Ayinoluwa. I'm a music lawyer. I live and work in Lagos, Nigeria, and I've been a lawyer for about 15 years. I love what I do. I'm also happy that we're in a very, very special time in Nigerian music.
Yes.
And as lawyers, this place, we have a lot of people that are actually contributing a lot to what is going on in the Nigerian music industry. So big ups, guys.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so I can go on, all right?
Yeah, the only non-lawyer.
Yeah. My name is Nelson Ufene. I am a music business analyst and a talent manager. I work with Imagination Music Management. I work with emerging artists. I'm passionate about music, and I feel very, safe around this panel, of lawyers. And it's also
Obviously,
good.
why not?
It's also good to meet people who are actively in the music business, because it's about building networks, about building relationships, and it's about even furthering or advancing where we have come as far as the music business is concerned. So it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you guys for inviting me.
Welcome.
Awesome. So there you have our three guests, and like I said before, we'll be starting with Amanda. So Amanda, let me give you a quick background. So some time ago, my younger brother wants to start his music career, and he asked me a particular question about what are the deals that he needs to get familiar with when it comes to the music industry. So let me throw that question to you as a music lawyer. What are the deals that frequently come up when it comes to musical deals?
Okay, I was going to say, first of all, you should not get familiar with any of the deals. You should get a lawyer. Is familiar with those deals.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But aside from that, deals, common deals in the music industry. First of all, for anything, everybody knows record label deals. So it could come in different forms. It could come in a recording contract or a 360 contract. It depends on the arrangement we and the record label. Then, if it's not a record label, it could be a music investment contract. It could be just someone investing in your music, and that's just from the beginning. Now, from point of view trying to make something, you have different deals. You have your producer agreement, your songwriter agreement, you have your split sheets, which is very important for anybody that is contributing on the track. Like, it's crazy that a lot of people don't think about the importance of that, because I don't think so far we have a timestamp that will say, okay, this rights has expired for now, that maybe after 3 years or 4 years cannot ask for it. So if they don't transfer rights to you or you don't share rights, person can wake up any day and ask for it. So it's something you need to tie up at the beginning, not even at the end. Because when they hear the records, plans changes. People start asking for things based on how they anticipate the record will do. So have the conversation from the beginning. That's for the making of the music. By the time you're done and you're not pushing it out, you have your distribution agreement. You have other agreements that can come in at licensing deals. It could be sync license. It could be let me just say licensing deals generally. I would say those are typical agreements you could have in the industry. The other agreements that will pop up, there's maybe influencing agreement, there could be endorsement agreements.
True.
All of that are like, I'll call them third party interference that can come in for the career and the music of the artist, depending on how they go. There could be also partnership agreement between two big labels to push the artist. That happens a lot. We see that in our industry, because I think we have the music, but most of us don't have the right funding. So when the big guys come with FX, we need to collaborate with them. So all those partnership agreements and all of that. But yeah, those are the common agreements we see in the industry.
Interesting. So for a young artist, right, I hear when a lot of them say, oh, there are templates all over. They can easily go to the internet and just type sample of a recording contract or sample of a distribution contract. Yeah. So is it advisable for artists to just go online to download templates and use?
I'll give a nice and a nice answer. And a
Interesting.
nice answer
We
is
are here
yes,
for that.
please do. Please do.
Okay.
And I'll charge you more when you come back for me to rectify that problem.
Okay.
But generally, the nice me,
Yeah.
the nice lawyers, what we say is don't do templates. It doesn't help anybody. It's crazy that in this day and age, I know there's AI, there's templates, there's all of that. It's easy for you to bring it up and do. But I don't think lawyers are expensive. There are different ranges of lawyers. If you're meeting one lawyer I think it's expensive, check out your friend that is starting up, that is in a law firm. You never can tell that person's. You guys can grow together. People can learn together. And they know it's not from law school you start drafting contract. You are learning. Most of us, even till now, are still learning. There's something we see that is different that we pick up. So it's a continuous process. So I don't think in this age anybody should be relying on template. How will you now see maybe template is Nigeria? The both companies are in Nigeria. Governing law is Netherlands. How?
Especially the arbitration clause.
Do you get? And these are things that can happen. And it's crazy that when the agreement comes to the person that is accepting it, for example, let's say the artist now, they give you, let's say you're the record label, you do the agreement, you don't know, you give the artist, the person just joyfully, without giving it to another lawyer to pick up those problems, sign. There's no problem. People want to go to Netherlands to start enforcing the contract, that they start dragging matter in court. Do you get? So it's not advisable at all. It might seem like you spending more money, but literally the way I see is that a lot of artists and a lot of people in the music industry pop bottles and clubs. It's just you sacrificing one Friday night and you pay a lawyer and they'll do the job that will save your life, basically.
True. So and in addition to that, there's no two types of contract or deal that is exactly the same, and that's why you actually need a lawyer's input, because what you have negotiated with your clients or your record label or whoever it is you're working with may be different from what the template actually considered to come up with that template. So it is always advisable for you to work with your lawyer when it comes to signing and negotiating deals in the music industry.
Of course.
Before we proceed, there's a question I'd like to ask you.
Okay.
And there's just about that question because this whole podcast is built on simplifying the good jargons. I don't want anybody to watch this podcast and say, oh, we will not understand them, they are lawyers and there's one industry professional. So you said when you explaining the types of deals, prevalent in the industry, that is obtainable in the industry, you mentioned record label or a 360. Can you please explain what a 360 deal is?
Okay. So a 360 deal in its simplest form is a deal where the person is going to gain and benefit from all your streams of income. That's the way I put it. So it could be, some people will say, okay, 360 deal means that the person is giving you all services, recording, distribution, management, all of that. But most record labels already give that on the beginning front. So me, I tend to classify a 360 deal as a deal where normal record label is supposed to aim from. You're supposed to benefit from anything that comes out from your music. Do you get music that they created? But you see some deals that is, even if it's club appearance, even if it's social media posts, even if it's every little bit of your earning, there's a percentage inside. That's what I call it 360 deal.
Oh, thank you. You nailed it. All right. So, how to ask the next question to Mr. Akinyemi. If you don't know him, please check him on IG. His page is hot.
Is the OG for the
As
OG?
the music related content is up on his IG.
Now I'm shy. How am I to answer this question?
You will see
How am I
celebrities
to shy?
talking on his comment section. You know? So let me ask you this question, sir. Yeah. There's been a buzz around Maven selling their stake, and the whole thing. So many news have been going around. I think from what I read was that it was Kupanda that actually sold their holdings. I don't know how, genuine that news I read is. Kupanda sold their holdings. And typical of a startup, I do startup law and the rest. Typical of a startup, there's always a time when they exit a company. So if they put in $10 million in your company, most times it's 5 years and above. So Kupanda had reached their exit stage, so they've exited. But I think a lot of Nigerians are saying it like, maybe Don Jazzy needed money and he sold, So, but from what I read, it was Kupanda that sold. So I want to ask you now, first of all, what do you make of the deal? That is Kupanda selling to UMG. Was it probably because they couldn't find an African buyer for those catalog, that they now had to sell to UMG? Or maybe it was somebody that made the highest offer? That's number one. Then the second question I would like to know is, UMG coming into Mavins, being, on the board of Mavins, being a shareholder, what do you think is going to likely change? Would they likely change management and control, or they might just be looking at exploiting the catalog, that they purchased? For example, Rema's and Selena Gomez, track that did 1 billion streams. Are they not going to say, okay, there are other avenues for us to make money for this record, or, they will be involved in the management? What do you think about it?
More like what
All right, thanks for all the accolades. Hopefully my answer to this question is going to show that I'm kind of brilliant.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I salute the transaction, I think that's like perhaps the most remarkable deal done in the music industry in Nigeria in the last 20-30 years, because Don Jazzy's company, the Mavins, have been able to produce like 2 major world stars in music, with Rema and Star, and now they've solidified their position as, Africa's or Nigeria's biggest music company. And then the journey started like maybe 6-7 years ago when they collaborated, when they came together with Kupanda Holdings and I think a second company, TP, and they came together as a joint venture to bankroll, to invest. Now, whatever comments we're making, we really do not have all the facts. So we're just a bit of assumptions and what the industry practice is usually like. So I think the people bankrolled Maven, and now Maven is seen as a successful company. And as a successful company, you are going to attract a lot of attention. I believe that many other companies were interested to buy into the company even before Universal. So, like you said, investors in a startup company, although a record company is usually not seen as a startup because of its scaling. Usually people want to 10x whatever they invest. But in this case, as reported in many music reports, the subscription in Africa to streaming service has gone almost, has developed in the last 2 years at 34%. And a lot of investors in music are looking in the direction of Africa as the new market because of the growth that they can see from the data. So for me, I think if they invested like 6-7 years ago and all these big guns are interested in buying, and remember, you have to study your marketplace. What if Afrobeats is no longer Afrobeats, maybe in 3-5 years? So at the point in time where you're getting a lot of people toasting you like the bride that you are, you would, as an investor, consider it. If you invested maybe $10 million and people are looking to buy a share for maybe 150, or the valuation of the company is a lot more, you might just want to cash in and get the deal done. So the reason why I'm even happy about this is Nigerians are very, very competitive. Now that you've seen that Maven can do it, where the investors in Maven, they sold their stake, and now maybe the company is a lot more valuable. You would also want to replicate that. And you'd be like, oh, maybe I should do this deal with a Nigerian company. Some investor in different parts of the world will start to think that they could replicate that kind of deal. So that's good for everyone seated here. Because in some way, the investors might think, okay, let me just push in like $5 million into a Nigerian company that has a track record. Maybe in 5 years' time, I can also cash out like Kupanda Holdings. And then the likes of Sonny and Warner, although I think Warner bought into Chocolate City. I think, I'm not sure because the news is sketchy. And that's an aside. So Sonny and Warner could also be looking to partner with homegrown talent and record companies. So that is something. Now, the second part of the question is losing control. Whether now that Universal has come in to buy the majority share in the company, whether they could wield more control and just change management along the lines. Trust me, I think if I have a vision to start an entertainment company, maybe a film company, a music company, and I build it from, maybe I was in my early 20s and I worked on that for like 15 years, 10 years, and maybe I have 20-30% still in the company. Yes, I might still want to be the one to control, how the company actualizes its vision. But if I see like a big investor who is buying up a larger share, and I'm at the point in my career where I'm like, maybe I don't want to be the one to be at the driver's seat anymore and relinquish control. So far, my 30% or 20% stake remains in the company, and they can't buy out my interest forcefully. I don't think it's a big deal because whoever has the controlling shares or majority of ownership usually would control, except there's a contract that says otherwise. But from the report we saw, there's a news that Don Jazzy and Tega will continue to, they will continue as management. So for me, I think this is a new chapter. Hopefully, it doesn't stop. I pray that there is more, foreign interest. Although a lot of our music executives are torn, many people are kind of wary. They're like, hey, Afrobeats is going to change. There's a lot of foreign interest, foreign money controlling it now. But even if you work in any territory, whether in the UK, Spain, or in the US, if you build an independent music company to the point where it is prominent and successful, a lot of the majors are still going to want to get into your business. You get? Except you want to keep doing it by yourself alone. You don't need foreign money. And without foreign money, you might not be able to scale. Because with Universal in the picture now, a lot of the talents on Maven Records would have access to more resources, financial, human, and more opportunities. I think that would also have a ripple effect on the Nigerian music industry. So I think it's a good transaction.
All right, that's good. So,
Mr. Nelson, over to you.
Yeah.
The main man. So, we all know that when it comes to music, right, it's usually a story of from grass to grace. Yeah, people hustling to pay for record sessions, to put their music out there. But we understand that promotion is a major part
of the music industry, and most times young artists struggle with raising cash to promote their music. So how do you think young artists can actually work with a lean budget for promotion and still achieve the kind of results that they want when it comes to pushing their music internationally?
Yeah, so the thing here is marketing is not as complex as or promotion, or let's say marketing and promotion is not as complex as we consider it to be. It's just that it's still a new terrain, right? And the music business is still evolving, right? So, and I know that with time we'll get it right.
Sure.
You know, and again, you talked about templates. The reason why we think that marketing and promotion is the way it is now is because a lot of people just copy templates, right? So there's no innovation into it. There's no idea of taking risk or even trying something new out of passion and inquisitiveness, right? So when it comes to spending money for promotion, you should understand that there are a series of activities that should happen before you even consider promotion.
Awesome.
So if you are going into promotion and bypassing this series of activities, whether you get the promotion right or wrong, the outcome will be wrong.
Wow. That's a new one.
You guess. So if you pull out a promotion from that chain, right, something would definitely be wrong. That quality assurance system you get in music. So you have to make sure that the idea is even worth it. You are with the right producer. You are with the right E&R. You have identified your audience.
Wow.
You have gotten your marketing right before you now talk about promotion. Let me give you an example. If MTN, for example, goes to, or let's say a brand that sells alcohol decides that they want to go to Kano State to advertise their product. First of all, the product is good, right? But they are going to a wrong audience.
Wow.
Because nobody actually, most states in the north are Sharia states. So even though there are people who secretly take alcohol there, but you've already known that this terrain is not advisable for you to go to. So whether you have a lean budget or you have a massive budget, you are in the wrong place.
True.
You get. So it's really not about how much you have, but how well you understand what you want to achieve. Because when it comes to promotion, you have to start from the end to where you are. That is, I know what I want to achieve. So what will it take me to get to where I am? For example, you want to build a house. You have to go to an architect. He will design and develop a model, meaning that we are starting from the complete idea. And then we'll now say, okay, we need 5,000 blocks. We need this, we need that, we need that. But when you are here and you're considering, okay, well, I need 10,000 blocks, you may be wrong, even if you have all the money to achieve it. So coming back to your question, promotion has nothing to do with whether you have a lean or
budget.
that's not what it is. Promotion is what you do after you have done effective marketing, meaning that you must have people who are already using your product to promote that product to them. If I don't know you exist, why are you promoting something to me? For example, MTN goes to a radio station and then does promotion. That's because they know the audience of the radio station already have a SIM card.
Okay.
Right? So that's what promotion is. This is a podcast. So the first edition is not promotion. The first edition is marketing. Oh, we exist. This is what we do.
Like
there's a podcast. Then the second one is you are promoting it to people who watched the first one. Right? That's promotion. So if you miss out on marketing, you miss out on some fundamental steps that you should take that are even really basic. Whatever you do in terms of laying, whatever budget you have is going to give you a wrong result. So
what are these marketing steps?
Okay, now, so when you want to do when you want to go into marketing, you have to make sure that you identify your audience. Who likes what I am making?
The kind of music.
Yes. There's no music that cannot sell in this world.
Even Johnny Drew, we're all thinking he wouldn't sell, but he has his audience.
Yes. So there's no song that cannot sell in this world. All you just need to do is to find who likes it. Right? So it's either you make people like it or you already find people who like it. Those are the two contexts of marketing. Marketing is, I know, and again, the idea is we all have fundamental human needs. We want security, we want to be relevant, we want to be loved, we want to have acceptance. So when you hinge your product on each of these fundamental needs of people, there will always be a need for that music you're selling. Portable, for example, you can see the way he's navigating through the music industry because he understands that there are people who likes what he does. And these people are not really music consumers. They are just content consumers because Portable doesn't put his music to them. He just puts himself to them as a brand. So people don't buy Portable's music. They buy his personality.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a you.
You get.
Yeah.
So if you don't get these things right in terms of who am I? Who am I catered to? Who do I want to service? Look, you can have 1 million fans and I can have 1,000 fans. If I have 500 active out of that 1,000, that is 50%, right? And if you have 200 out of that, your 1,000, that is less than even 20%. I am more of a celebrity than you. You get. So if you don't get these pieces right from the onset, in fact, you even get your recording deal right, everything that you do will just be faulty, right? So when it comes to marketing, you have a lean budget. You know your audience. You can maximize it around your audience. You know, if I have like 100 fans and I have 100,000, instead of me, like what we do in marketing, you could come to us and give us 10 million and say, look, I want my song to go viral. We're not spending that 10 million. We are leveraging on our network to help you build a community, right? Now, let me put it this way. What does it take to win an election in the country? You don't need to know everybody. You only need to know few people who have the influence. You know the INEC chairman, you know the head of this, you know this, and then that's all. You get the thing. So when you Nigeria, so when you come to me to market your music or to promote your music, I'm not thinking about everybody in the world. I'm thinking about those people who would naturally gravitate towards what you have already made.
So it's more of the strategy
behind the marketing and promotion,
rather than
just the budget alone. So if I notice that as you have tribal marks, and then you have this Yoruba, thick Yoruba. What am I promoting you in the East for? That budget is not needed there. Yeah. So I have to make sure that you have a strong base here and then get you to collaborate with people so that while they are listening to their own person, they don't have a choice but to listen to you. And that's what worked between Olamide and Fino. Yeah. So, and again, no average South African artist spends any money to promote their music in Nigeria. But because we make something that is similar to what they make, so naturally the DJ doesn't have a choice to spin their own music. You get. So if you don't get these small basic things right, so it's not even about lean or massive. Now, sitting down here, somebody would think you have expended a lot of money to get us here. But it could just be a phone call, Baba, be sure for me. Or Baba, did this. So imagine inviting me who is a lawyer. Let's say I'm a lawyer. And then I'm a what other aspect of law would I call now? Let's say oil and gas. And then I'm seated here, quite all right, I'm a lawyer. But the information I'll be able to provide may not be fitting for this conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
So you have to actually invite an entertainment lawyer, right? And again, not really about an entertainment lawyer, somebody who even has footing on the streets that knows what's happening. You get. So the idea of whether you have a lean or massive budget is not even the question now. Is where are we? Where do we want to go? Are we in the right place? Now, how much do we even need? The same woman who is using 10,000 naira to make meal for her family last year is now able to use 5K to make even the same meal now because of the context of the country. Meaning that it's not even about the money she has, it's about her ability to manage it. And it's something that you learn based on experience. So whether you have 10 million, you have 50 million, you have 100,000 naira, you can still do something, but it depends on understanding your market and where you find yourself.
Really.
Thank you for that.
Really. All right, that's Mandy way. No, I call you Mandy way. I don't know why I like that. All right, so let's discuss something. Yeah, I think it was last year, or I don't know whether it's this year. First of all, there's something called Ojapiano. Somebody even released the record called Baby Piano.
Baby Piano.
So piano is a song.
That's a joke. That's a joke.
So far as piano then.
So far as piano. go sell one way or the other. We sort of, had this whole, thing that entered the news, and the Ojapiano singer and Casey, not even the singer, except the manager, if I'm not wrong, the manager came out and said, oh, yeah, they didn't get a dime, from the record and the whole thing. Casey came out and said, oh, that, he put the guy in final clothes and some other, and then I think they gave them money.
So the manager said they only paid them like 200,000. Yeah, but Casey came out. We received, of course, that transferred about 1.2 million to the guy and his manager, right? So those were the issues that they.
My confusion is, why is it the manager that is talking? I don't understand. Is it that they didn't pay the manager or they didn't pay the artist?
So
Who was not paid?
They sort of worked together on the project.
So the manager was an A&R on the project.
Manager, yes, and the artist.
Okay.
Yes, they worked together on the sound, right?
But the artist is okay. The artist is happy.
The artist might not necessarily be.
I don't even think it's a matter of they work together. That artist, the guy, the Japan guy, is really young. So I think it's the manager that speaks for him. Because he never for once came out and said something.
What he's supposed to get.
So he's speaking on behalf of the
artist. Yes, as his talent. How managers manage people and the whole.
Okay.
So the whole trending debate was, is the Ojapiano guy entitled to royalties, off that record, of the Ojapiano song? Because clearly, from what we saw and from what we read, there is no percentage for him of publishing. So a lot of people were advocating for the Ojapiano guy, saying, "Oh, he deserves something. That Ojapiano sound makes, maybe 90% of the whole song, and that's why people listen to it, according to what we saw."
Even Casey came out to say, I think it was about 5 months after the music was recorded or released, and he said he hasn't made any money from the release of the song, and even if he eventually makes money, he's not willing to share anything with the guy, except if he just feels like giving him a part of royalties that he make from
Casey
it.
came out with receipt. Any of the receipts
Yeah, like
split sheet
the
agreement.
Transfer
receipts.
But Casey shouldn't be having such problems
Transfer
in
receipts.
this age. He's too big to be
It's
having
too big,
such
man.
problems.
It's been a lot.
He's been in the industry for
around
a long
while.
time.
Yeah.
But if I'll come in,
Yeah.
so the thing here is, Casey is not wrong.
Okay.
Why I say so is, if you and I decide that we want to take a stroll out, and I decide that I'm going to buy you just meat pie, and then when we get there, somebody now decides that he's going to buy me a car, and then because you came with me, all of a sudden you think you're entitled to that car.
It's not the same thing.
Now, the contest here is, we want to work together. We are not certain if that song will blow, number one. You are not even in talks of whether I will promote that song or not, right? I decided to do something with this song and it became successful. Now you think because you were ignorant, you only get what you bargain for. You only get what you ask for. I'm talking from a production aspect now.
Yeah.
Please come and put your input here. Casey is a big star. You didn't, like what you said earlier, if you don't get it right by getting a lawyer, whatever you see in that process, you take it that way. I think Casey is just being pressured to do what even what is clear. This guy came to work for him. He paid him. He gave him a one-time payment, right? This guy wasn't even sure that Ojapiano thing would even sell or not. What if Casey decided not to promote the song? Would we be having this conversation now?
Okay, so it appears Amanda has a divergent.
Yes,
Of
course.
I feel strongly.
There's something called copyright law.
Ladies first, please let Amanda take.
I get what you're saying. Like, what you explained is what happens. Like, when you're saying, okay, in the business, layman terms, no problem. But like I said earlier on, the fact that if this person doesn't have plans of retaining their rights, they have to transfer the rights to you. Do you get? There need to be a documentation. That's why I asked if part of the receipt was a split sheet, saying that, okay, this guy that worked on it, if he likes, let it be that he followed him into the studio itself to leak sweets, but he contributed on the record. Did he transfer his rights to you? As far as that's not there, if like pay 1 million, 2 million, payment doesn't transfer rights. The person can wake up anytime as far as that right is valid and say, I want my share. So that's why I said this kind of issue shouldn't be happening to Casey. Casey's been in the industry for a long time. He's an OG. Like, I've known him since I was small. Before I even knew what music business was. So what he would have done was, okay, fine. As you're making that payment, document it in form of an agreement saying, okay, this payment I'm paying you, I'm giving you, say he clothed the guy and all of that. All of this I'm giving you is a final payment. Like, this is full and final payment for your contribution on this record. Going further, there is no royalties. I'm going to carry on the weight of promotions and everything. And then you don't get, once that documentation is there, if like talk from today to tomorrow, you transferred rights. But as it is now, if the guy tries to go to court, is except maybe along the way, maybe something we don't know, maybe through WhatsApp message or something, guys already agreed. Like Casey has some concrete proof saying, okay, I'm giving you everything, I don't want anything from you, Baba. Except that the court will side the guy.
But the question I would like to ask is, we have a lot of content creators. What percentage do you think, imaginary, of these content creators have managers?
Yeah, but again, that is not an excuse.
What I'm saying is, two parties did something wrong, and we're trying to push all of the blame on one person. Excusably, because the person is more experienced. But the thing here is that, for my own thinking, I don't think this guy even had a manager in the first place.
Yeah, but even if you didn't have legal representation, but you contributed substantially in a way that we can all verify to the creation of a copyright. If you did not expressly sign anything to say all my interest and what I helped you create, it's like this, yeah? We're trying to build a property. You came with sharp sand. I came with cement. You came with blocks. She came with the roof. She came with the finishing, interior decor and everything. When all this thing is done, all of us can have claims, even if none of us bought the land. Usually by law, they will say, okay, the owner of the land gets everything. The owner of the land will still be the one to probably win. But why not just from the inception? When we are all coming together to collaborate to create anything.
My roof, my interior
exactly. So it should be very, very clear to everyone.
Maybe they could renegotiate after.
So that's why
coming out to say this guy did this.
Negotiation is going to be very difficult. Because the song is success.
So who is at
everybody wants
you would have the higher power.
So who is at fault now between Casey and
the people at fault are the people who know better. And it should have avoided unnecessary controversy.
Of course.
That's why I say again, Casey has been around for a long time.
All right, I could agree, because probably Casey didn't even think that this is a sound that would even pop.
Yeah, but again,
but regardless, he should have known better.
So it's like this: if you want to buy like a property, you don't just make the assumption that I know this guy is selling, I know the family is selling the land. No need to do my investigation or get my papers right. Same thing with creating music. We can be best friends in the studio. Everybody's laughing, we're smoking, we're drinking, we marry, and we make magic. Trust me, as soon as the world accepts that sound, the controversy that can crop up from our inability to properly agree to say, hey, you have 50%, I have 50%. Let's sign, let's shake hands on it.
But in this case, you are Casey's lawyer.
Yeah.
Defending Casey in this matter.
Yeah.
From what point will it come from?
I would be like, because Casey has more leverage, is the superstar here. I'm going to make sure that I offer something to the other party that contributed that they can't say no to.
The other person cannot decide that this is what I want.
The other person, if that person has a strong lawyer that is a troublemaker, they'll frustrate everything.
No, we're talking about
they'll bring down the song.
We're talking about you.
Yeah, because as a reasonable lawyer that is experienced, 15 years, I would try to make sure that the song does not die.
Of course. So whatever.
So that what we're So I'm going to give up something that will be substantial, that can be part of the catalog of the other person.
So my point is, it's not a matter of who is right or who is wrong. I think the fact is that it's about furthering issues like this in the future, because there will always be a
but there are too many lawyers making noise online.
That this thing should still be an issue.
I've been making noise for more than 10 years.
She's been making noise.
Everybody has been making noise about doing business properly. So in 2023,
you just have coconut.
Yes, it shouldn't be happening again.
So that means that guy has been ignorant now, right?
But you don't understand.
I get.
If an illiterate in the game, if they run into an issue like this, people that know better will be like, but
And
you,
you should know
don't you
better."
know that you should
Uh-huh.
protect
The
yourself?
perfect example
So-
is that Olamide and Ashake thing, where Olamide was going to sign Ashake. Ashake said, "Oh, forget, I don't need
I don't
lawyers."
need
He said, "No,
Yes,
take and trade."
exactly.
He knows better.
Of course,
Yes.
I agree.
All right.
So very close to this question,
Yeah.
right, is another question that I would love Akinyemi to take, which is so recently a lady called Ewako, she called out Funke Akindele, and in fact she sued Funke Akindele for using her songs in a soundtrack in a movie called what's
She
the
must
title?
be obeyed.
She Must Be Obeyed, a series on Amazon Prime. So she called out Funke Akindele that Funke Akindele used her songs that she recorded in a film as a soundtrack without one paying her or giving her credit. In fact, other actors, I think Waje and what's this other Big Brother lady? V. They performed the song in the series and they didn't give her credit, they didn't pay her. She claimed that it was Funke Akindele's maybe representative or manager that came to her to brief her about the soundtrack. But then the guy came back with the feedback that they didn't like the soundtrack and that they were going to drop it, only for the series to come out. And she noticed that they used the songs as soundtrack and also performed it in the series. So as a music lawyer, if let's imagine that Ewako was actually your artist, what would you say? What would be your reaction in such a circumstance?
Yeah, so I'll tell her to give me the full story
Okay.
and also be very clear with what the complaint is. Because according to law, if you make an assertion, you must, prove it.
Yeah.
So give me the full story, make your claims, and then back it up with as many supports, whether chats, whether emails, anything that can support your story to show that indeed what I'm alleging is true. Because in the music industry, in the film industry, it is very collaborative and things move very fast. I've seen many cases where, people call people for submission of ideas, submission of songs, and then the people you called out to submit their ideas and creativity, they submit these things, but then you say no to many things.
True.
And maybe last minute, you're trying to meet up with your production, the things you've said no to, you now start picking it, or some other people in your camp do not want to pay something very substantial, and then they start remaking some of the ideas. Like you said no to a screenwriter or a script, but then maybe your friend that will not really charge you, you tell them what the story is or one of the stories you found to rewrite it and make it into something you can shoot. So in this case, this is not a strange occurrence. This is very, very common, not just in Nigeria, all over. And I'm really, really interested in that matter. I would like to see where this leads. I think as a lawyer, we need to test the laws. The whole principle behind intellectual property is that we should reward the people who expend time making their creativity beneficial to the marketplace or even touching the civilization with their creativity. So the law says when these people do what they've done, they should benefit. So it would be in the interest of everyone when we create music, when we shoot films, even Funke Akindele, I'm not saying she's wrong in this instance. She would also not appreciate the idea of when she shoots her movies and before it gets to the cinema, it's everywhere in traffic. So we should all uphold the principle that, whoever does the work, who's creative, who has helped in any way to collaborate to make our lives easy, make our projects a success, let everybody get paid and get their credits.
And it's sad that let me not just assume
that she's wrong.
That she's wrong,
we
because
don't
we
want
don't
to do
have
that.
the fact of the whole case,
Yes.
right? But just like we said in cases issue, right? Someone as big as Funke Akindele should understand the power of signing releases for all the creatives that works on our projects. You get, so she should know that we are using this sound. Did this person get paid? Did this person get the credit?
Like I said, things move very fast. She might not even know. It might be one person on the team
But then
that,
for
or you know more than we do.
I
think she knows more than we do.
I don't know more than.
She probably
I keep
does.
saying it till tomorrow. You know, the lawyer attached to that project. I blame the lawyer.
yeah,
Yeah, but you
even
know,
for
sometimes
Amazon
some
Prime.
clients will not tell you.
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah,
what I'm saying. No,
clients
see,
don't tell you.
when I've
When
worked in the film industry,
industry.
in the film industry, there's something that happens which most film lawyers miss it. But then I'll put it in two ways. If you're attached to the project on the project from beginning to end, then you're supposed to do this before the movie gets to, like, once you're done with QC, before it gets to the streaming platform, you're supposed to preview it. You're supposed to inspect your cue sheet. When that happens, you can pick up songs that were not original songs scored for the production, and songs that was not from either Netflix or all of these libraries or universal libraries that have blanket license. And if you do, you rectify it, because what happens, this happens more often in the movie industry because things move fast. Now it's possible in all, let's just say, okay, this one she's saying someone tried to reach out, okay, that could happen. There's also situations where they give you a song list to try and get license to this song, and you're not able to achieve everything. You just get a few, but maybe the director is already attached to a particular sound because of one sentimental reason or the other for a scene, or the post-production guys, the editors didn't get that information. They'll go ahead and use the song. It happens. Now it's at that point when you're clarifying things, where you're previewing and ensuring that, okay, all third-party materials on this production was cleared. I'm checking my cue sheet. Is everything okay before I send it to the streaming platform? That's when you're supposed to pick it out. But then most people are not.
Even streaming platforms, aren't they supposed to check all these things?
That's it. They expect you to. That's
Yeah.
why most times when the issue gets to them, they
Indemnity.
send it back to you.
Yeah,
Because you've already told them, I've checked everything.
Exactly.
You're submitting a cue sheet that when they look at, they are saying, okay, their sound said that it's probably tabulating or evidencing all the sounds of this production. So it's left to you to ensure that everything is okay. Not them. Most times they don't check, they just check paperwork. Okay, everything, all deliverables are complete. The production looks nice. All right, fine.
Let's go.
Okay.
But it's true though, because I've actually had a client who, had an unlicensed song in his movie. Movie went to cinema, was on streaming. So the artist contacted us, contacted the producer. He knew that it was basic from our letter. So he just, abided by whatever we told him. The demands, he met our demands and all. Down on his, funny enough, we now became his lawyers. So on further projects, we're now doing all the paperwork. In fact, he even tells me, music, look, me some.
That music part is so
so clearance is always all paperwork is making sure that everything is done. He's one even telling me, and I think that's how movie producers.
And again, this justifies the reason why you should have platforms like this, because it will amaze you the amount of ignorance that is out there. So regardless of the setback that you might experience in the course of doing this, you should just keep doing it, because even if, like for me, the idea or the vision behind what I do in imagination is one talent at a time. So you should focus on one person at a time. As long as there's one person who is ignorant out there, your work is still relevant. So regardless, just stay encouraged as far as even the legal aspect is concerned. Because what happens most time, I know that you will experience it, is we are solutions driven. So we have to see the problem first before we respond, instead of even creating sensitization, for people to understand. And the target should always be emerging artists. It should always be guys who are just starting. Because if we wait for the KCs and the Funky and Kidele to make the mistake, why are you in the game for this long?
Yeah, the thing
so
is,
let's focus on that.
I'm even
that angle.
encouraged, because now, like 10, 13 years ago, when I used to really be a noisemaker on social media, producers were not talking about split sheets. But now, in the last 35 years, a lot of young producers, they know what to ask for.
Of course.
When the record is done, they know how to ask you, like, hey, make sure you send a producer agreement, send a split sheet, make sure you send a features artist agreement, and so that we can properly protect everyone's interest. So I think all the noise making done by dozens of lawyers is starting to translate to making sure that the root of title in movies and films, making sure that the split sheets and producer agreements in music, that all these things are properly done.
Another gap that I find that lawyers should also come in when it comes to the idea of marketing is these bloated results that marketers even present to artists, right? So what we see these days is that marketers just come and say, I'm going to give you this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, give me 10 million. And these artists do not even know by what parameter would that even know that you have achieved this. And I see that happen like 5 years. The same way we are solving old problems, these new problems will come up where you see an artist trying to even sue a marketer to say, you promised me this. I can even tell you that even though we're in a digital age, Alaba then is more even like a credible platform, because Alaba will tell you we're going to do this and they will do it. But in this digital era, it's just so much of assumption of results, right? As long as you have 10,000 streams, how does an artist quantify 10,000 streams when you are when my song is like, when people pull out this information from their DSPs, they see my song trending in Pakistan. Who listens to Afrobeat in Pakistan?
In a stream farm,
You understand? So, and these artists are not even aware that the marketers have done this. Like, there are a lot of artists who have complained within my community that their songs are being dropped from DistroKid and whatever, and they are not even aware that the marketers, engaged in these things.
Illegal,
you understand? So, I think that's another angle that you guys should also try to come
the
in.
part of numbers, I think the thing is that a lot of people in the industry are blinded by clout.
Of course.
So most times those marketers give those numbers because when they give you the real number, it starts seeming like, oh, you don't know your job. But they told me that this person will give me this number, but that person's lying to you. So the person that is saying the truth, that is giving you something realistic, you don't want to hear. You want to hear, no worry, this song is mass.
Yeah,
Give me 10 million.
give,
Take
of course.
10 million views.
Yeah.
Boomplay will give you plaque. This one will happen, that will happen. So that's the thing. A lot of people need to stay in tune. Like,
so the demand is what is creating the supply, actually.
You now manufacturers.
Everybody thinks that when they show cloud number, that means they are doing
well.
But when it comes to actually showing, okay, how much are you making from it? When you try to do, you have the fan base, when you try to do a show, the people come out, you can't present. You just have bloated numbers.
Of course.
Of course. So one question that I would like to ask Akinyemi is this issue of power play in the industry, yeah? So you see a young artist that is just coming up, maybe wants to write lyrics for a Davido or a Whiskey that is high up there. And I think I saw a similar post on your Instagram page where I think it was Tiffany Red when she called out Beyonce that why is Beyonce earning publishing rights on a song that she didn't write, And similar things happen in the industry where a young songwriter is collaborating with a big artist. So how would you advise a young artist when it comes to negotiating with the big guns? Like, what are the strategies? What are the things that you can do to at least, if not the exact thing they should get something substantial out of the deals?
Yeah, so I think all this, what I'm about to say, I discovered maybe like 2-3 years ago.
Interesting.
If you working alone in the music industry, it is very, very easy to be bullied and for people to take advantage of you. But as an upcoming talent or as an emerging talent, if you just work with some other person, just for example, you are going to a meeting, don't go alone. If the person is way, way bigger than you, try as much as you can to just go with just like a partner or a friend or your producer. It's going to change the dynamics of the relationship. If you are meeting a big person, the temptation usually is that you go alone because you want the big person to kind of like take you as a younger brother and you guys want to have deep connections. But oftentimes it allows the bigger person to possibly prey on you. Even if you want to send emails, just by simply copying another person. In fact, you could even be the one to create a false image of, some manager somewhere. You just say, oh, my manager is copied in this email. Trust me, it's going to make the bigger guy think twice. And so what I usually advise is if you can't get a lawyer, a manager, as an upcoming talent, try not to do things alone by yourself. Just you as a dog going on the street with another dog instills fear in whoever is coming to do you any arm or attack you because you're not alone. So that feeling of not being alone can help you avoid a lot of people that waste the time or take advantage of it. So what I think is the most expensive solution would be upcoming artists, emerging talent, get a lawyer or get a manager. But I'm also very, very I appreciate the fact that not everybody would at the start of their journey have a lawyer or manager.
True.
So if I could add to what you said, which I think is right, communities. Like I started Imagination as a community. So we had lawyers from the MBA Academy. We had a lot of guys there and they offer these things almost for free, right? Okay, so you have a meeting somewhere and then, guys, I'm going for so thing. What do you guys think? Okay, do this, don't do that, don't do this. It saves you, right? To a certain level. It gives you a lot of information. If I have a community, for example, either maybe on WhatsApp or something, I have people like you there. It's a crop of some emerging artists. They get almost all of these things they pay for free, right? So I think aside what you have subscribed or what you've prescribed, people should think about communities. For example, I think you should also have your own modular community.
Yeah, on Instagram, I try to share, all these things for free.
Right?
But a lot of them, when they come into my DMs or emails, they have to pay for more.
We want to take it outside of that place.
Yeah, but again, just the little that I share is enough. If you are very observant and smart.
Then do you think having like an understanding of maybe your roles and the usual thing that you should get from such deal, just having an understanding of the deal itself and what you should ask for?
Trust me, I'm a realist. Sometimes when you meet your idols or people that are bigger than you, everything that you thought you knew would just fly off. You would not remember. You're just going to be, you would not see. Honestly, Ashake knew that he was supposed to get a lawyer. But Olamide was like a god to him. And that was the opportunity to live whatever his reality was at that point. So I'm very, very, and there are some clients that I've met. They have a very messy situation and they've signed. And then I'll tell them, look at, this is the worst case scenario. You might need to do 2-3 more years under this deal. Or we can do our best to get you out. And some of them will be like, oh, 2 more years, Abby. Trust me, a lot of, even Jay-Z at some point did a bad deal. Not really a bad deal. Sometimes we have to give up a lot at the start of our journey. Maybe somebody signed us and now we're getting 30% or 40%. The person's getting a lion's share. So we have to understand it. Even for everybody, we started young as young lawyers. The journey wasn't smooth. At the inception, we had to sacrifice a lot, do a lot of free jobs, make a lot of noise online, give a lot of free pro bono services before we started gaining some recognition that we could then leverage. Same thing for recording artists and songwriters and producers. At the start of a journey, you are going to suffer. That's just it. You have to pay your dues, but it's good that you know enough. It's good that you let them use you to a certain level. When the using wants to break your neck, then you get other people to help you on your journey.
All right. So we're going to wrap up here by just playing a game. We're going to ask you some questions. Just tell me your most preferred. Yeah? So Instagram or TikTok marketing? Which one do you prefer most?
TikTok.
TikTok, why?
It has a direct niche, because when you're on TikTok, you attract, I don't know if it's the algorithm or something, you attract certain kind of people who stay over what you are doing consistently, unlike Instagram. Yeah.
Okay, secondly, offline or online, when you have a lean budget, which one would you go to marketing?
Online. Yeah.
All right. So, Akinyemi, next to you. Songwriters, producers, or artists? Who do you love to represent?
The one that has changed my life, producers.
Producers, yes.
I'm always grateful to all the producers that have been supporting me. They were the first people to give me a break.
Oh, nice.
And I think, if you're a young lawyer and watching me, pick people that, that need representation. At that time, they needed a lot of help.
Yeah.
So if you're a young producer now, you might look to represent digital creators that are really, really making moves. Trust me, those people are collecting money. If you can manage them or be their lawyer, you're going to make money as well.
Of course. So final question to wrap up. Can you please, for budding lawyers, especially maybe those fresh from law school, those who are still in law school, can you define what a music lawyer is? So they just understand.
A lawyer that provides legal services to everyone in the music industry.
Okay, so who are the practitioners in the music industry that a music lawyer can provide services to?
Artists, record label, music execs, songwriters, music producers, investors. I've already mentioned record label, distributors, licensors, literally everyone.
All right. So thank you. I think you should wrap up for us.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Nelson. Thank you, Akinyemi, Mr. Create Your Future.
Yes,
and that's what he's doing for all music artists out there, and that is why we are all here, to educate you on legal aspects of your everyday life. Not only music, human rights, intellectual property, everything that you do that has to do with law. So see you in our next podcast.
Thanks for having us. Really
subscribe
appreciate
on our YouTube channel.
Yes,
Of course.
like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Thank you, guys. All right.
God bless.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.